The reason that the Me Too movement was radical is because the women were believed. Me Too movement wasn't radical because so many women were coming forward with allegations. The Me Too movement was radical because when they did come forward, people believed them. That was radical. Because up until that point, women were coming forward and not being believed. Women were coming forward and being ignored. Women were coming forward and being called liars. Now, what's happened after Me Too, right? There was a pushback from the men, the abusive men to be specific. You can find them in any conversation, any comment section that has to do with allegations at this point in time. Keke Palmer came forward and said she was being abused and people didn't believe her. They fought back against it. I'm going to say some names here and it's going to piss you off, but I want you to bear with me. Amber Heard, Blake Lively, Cassie, Halle Bailey. And I say all those names, you can have your feelings about every single one of them. That's not what we're discussing. What we're discussing is the conversation that happens with every single one of them. Because one of the things that you will see all of the time is people trying to find out if they're lying. And when they're doing that, they're constantly saying, we need to make sure that they're not lying because if they're lying, it's harming real victims. And then they end up being real victims and all of the harm was perpetuated on them during this time period because people were trying to disprove that they were abused. It happens. I always see that, you have to protect men. You have to protect men. Allegations ruin their lives. Every time I look around, their lives ain't that ruined. You got the few. You got the few that have faced repercussions for their actions. There is a video of this man doing horrible things to her. We all saw the video and people still I'm seeing people in comment sections, men in comment sections saying she chose to stay and it is enraging. And then also seeing comments of men saying when it's justified to harm a woman. And the degree of which, I'm going to take a video in the bottom here because there was a guy who came forward and he was like, it sounds like you guys just really want an excuse to hit women. Like in order to defend yourself against a woman, like you guys are all saying all of the time, the manosphere is always saying that they're so strong, that they're so much better than women. Women are meek and they're mild and they're basically no threat to men because men are alphas. But then you guys beat them. In self-defense. That's not self-defense. Chris Brown still has a career. The Dutch volleyball player still has a career. The man got elected as a president. His career has actually gone up. Mike Tyson. How many men, I want you to think of how many men we have heard have done horrible things. And the only ones that I can truly think of that have suffered real, sustained punishment for their behavior so far is men like this who are hosting things. Jeffrey Epstein. People doing things that are like the ringleader at the top, but all of the men that are below them causing equal amount of harm, just not seen as like some ringleader, some person who's perpetuating all these things allegedly happening. What repercussions? What careers are being ended? And I want you to do like a good introspection here. How many men's lives, truly? How many careers, truly? And then you'll always, those men have money. Yeah, they have money. And it's not the men with money that are the only ones protecting them. It's the one down the food chain at the bottom who do the same thing behind closed doors. And they're in these comment sections defending the behaviors of men that do the very thing that they do.